build your marketing on the fundamentals, right? And if you want to then test and experiment and play around with the latest trends, the latest technologies, and the latest gizmos and the latest stuff, do that as a test. Don't make that your staple. Don't make that your bread and butter.
You're listening to the Profit First for Lawyers podcast, the official companion show to the book Profit First for Lawyers by RJon Robbins. Now, this podcast is for you if you want to bring home more profit while working less hours in the office, spending more time with your loved ones doing the things you actually want to do, and turning your office into a lean, mean, profit-breathing machine. So if you're tired of working for your law firm instead of your law firm working for you, stay tuned for some really practical insights that will get you the results you've always wanted. It's time to put your BS aside for the next few minutes and put yourself, your family, your firm, and your profit first. Welcome back to another episode of the Profit First for Lawyers podcast. I'm your host, Carly. And today we're taking a closer look at some of the concepts that RJon mentioned in chapter 5 of his book by continuing our conversation on marketing. Now we're going to be speaking about some of the age-old, time-tested strategies that still work today and that can help you increase your ROI while making better use of your marketing budget. Now, the clip I chose today was from a webinar series for the Daniels Head Insurance Agency. RJon was a guest on this series for 12 really impactful, really profitable webinars that were led by Draye Redfern himself. And I'm really excited to share this one with you now. So this particular webinar was filmed in how to manage a small law firm's brand new office building prior to its renovation. So for our listeners who aren't watching the video, you're probably going to hear some echo because the new office was a really large space that was almost completely empty at the time. Now, RJon's also going to reference the big orange staircase quite a few times because at the time that he was filming this clip, there was a literal big orange spiral staircase behind his left shoulder that was left over from the previous building owner. Now, this webinar actually happened right as I was hired, and it was my first time watching RJon give a lesson live. It has actually lived rent-free in my head ever since. This is one of my favorite clips of his. And I think you'll see why pretty quickly. Let's roll the clip.
What would you call the fundamentals of direct response marketing? If we're talking high-level strategy, I've only done these few things, not getting in the weeds tactic-wise. What would those large, key fundamental blocks be?
Right. So the basic strategy for long-term success that everyone watching this, listening to this can follow is you get clear on your message. Why are you doing what you're doing? Who are you doing it for? How will it help them have a better future? 1. 2, you share resources with those people, usually for free, to separate them out from the rest of the herd, right? 3, you have them opt into a list of some kind. Have them separate themselves out, like here's everyone, and have them all join you up there in that corner. Like everyone, if we're speaking to an entire crowd of people, right? We want to get our people to join us up there at the top of those orange spiral stairs. And we don't really care about everyone else, right? So the third thing is get your people to join you somewhere else, separated from everyone else. 3rd. And 4th, educate them so that they can make a decision on their own about when and why they want to work with you and only you and not anyone else. If you will follow this strategy, you can build a $10 million firm that's sustainable, predictable, reliable, over and over and over and over. It keeps going and going and going and going and going, right? So it's get clear on who you want to work with, and it doesn't have to be just one. You could have 2 or 3 different avatars. Who are you helping? Why are you helping them? Why do you care? Why do you give a crap about helping them? And how are you seeking to make their life better? Answer those 3 questions. 2, put things out there that is of value to those people. Typically put those things out there for free in order to get them to raise their hand and say, I want to join you at the top of the orange spiral staircase because I'm interested in that message, that solution, solving that problem. I'm interested in that. And then they separate themselves from everyone else.
We call that an ethical bribe.
Yeah. There's all kinds of words for it, but it's basically giving them something that gives them the opportunity to raise their hand and say, I'm different from everyone else, and I deserve to be treated different than everyone else. And you should now invest disproportionate time, energy, and attention talking to me as compared to everyone else, because I have distinguished myself by going to the top of the spiral or the orange spiral staircase, right? There's hundreds of people down here on the floor. There's 25 people or 10 people at the top of the orange staircase. Those are the hot prospects. They're the ones who deserve the extra attention.
Hey guys, a quick interjection for some gratitude today. I really appreciate the time that you spend listening to these episodes and sharing them with your friends. I wanted to ask, if you've been getting a lot of value out of them, will you please do me a favor and rate and review us on whichever platform that you're listening on now? I personally would love the feedback, and that will also help us continue to reach new audiences. And if you want even more content, make sure to sign up for our weekly newsletter that I personally write, after all. And you can do that on our website at profitfirstforlawyers.com/action. And now, back to the show.
So 1 is get clear on who you want to help, why you want to help them, and how you're going to help make their life better. Number 1. Number 2, put things out into the marketplace that allows people to self-select and go to the spiral orange staircase. Number 3, have a system in place to continually deliver value, continually help them, to continually educate them so that they can self-select and decide when and why it makes sense for them to take that next step to go from marketing into sales, to say, I'm now ready to change from a marketing conversation to a sales conversation. Obviously, they're not going to put it in those terms, but conceptually, when are they ready to go through that gate that separates marketing and sales?
So
that strategy, people have been using this strategy, I should mention, for hundreds of years. This is not new. If anyone, this is not, this predates computers, this predates the internet, this predates Twitter. Believe it or not, people were doing marketing before there was something called social media, right? This marketing strategy has been around for hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of years. You know who one of the first Americans is to have implemented the strategy? And by the way, this person became a multimillionaire, the first American entrepreneurial rock star who implemented this strategy. Benjamin Franklin. You are one of the few people who knows that. Exactly.
I'm a student of all things marketing, so that
this is why we get along. Yeah, Benjamin Franklin was doing direct response marketing way back when. You know, it's not new. The strategy, you can use the latest technology. Yeah, test the latest technology, experiment with the latest social media, experiment with the latest doohickey gizmo, whatever, for the more efficient implementation of a proven strategy. Don't let the technology dictate or replace the strategy.
I think that if you don't have that figured out, I'm going to go to do Instagram and then TikTok, but then they say LinkedIn, but then I need to go back and do something else. And then you're going to be bouncing around.
There's all of these marketing agencies. These marketing agencies piss me off, right? They do such a disservice because the way it works is you get some guy or some person who learns how to use the algorithm for social media, right? or they really learn YouTube, or they really learn TikTok, or they really learn, they really learn whatever they learn, right? And they don't know the first thing of strategy. And they say, I have a marketing agency. And you call them, I have a law firm and I want to grow my law firm. And they say, I can help you grow your law firm. I have a marketing agency. And you go, okay, what are you going to do? I'm going to sell you TikTok and a YouTube and a Facebook package. Okay, I've never studied marketing in my life. I went to law school. I don't know anything. You have a marketing agency. I assume you know what you're talking about. So I guess if you're telling me that I need Facebook and TikTok and YouTube, okay. And then they say, and they start charging you, and they start doing stuff on Facebook and TikTok and YouTube. And the results are, let's just say, somewhat random, unpredictable.
That's a nice way of putting it.
I'm a nice person.
Yeah.
And like if you're a student of marketing, this thing is doomed from the start because they never bothered to ask the question, who are we talking to? Who is our audience? Who do you want to work with? What's your ideal client? Why do you care about these people? How are you making their life better? And they don't bother to then say, okay, we're going to use TikTok and YouTube and all these different things to do what? Right? If the only thing you're doing is to get them to call you and hire you, you're missing the longer term wealth building strategies available to you.
RJon mentioned that this was a really old strategy, but I had never heard it described quite like that before, where the object of marketing was not only to attract the attention of as many people as possible, but it was actually meant to separate your people from the rest of the people of the world, right? And to let you nurture those relationships that had the biggest potential to bring you the most profit. This is such a smart strategy. And I promise the rest of the webinar was just as fantastic. It was actually over an hour long, and it's up for free right now on the DHIA website if you want to watch the whole thing and even see some of the other lessons that RJon taught in this series. Now, we've got that linked in our show notes below for you in case you want to take a look. And speaking of free resources, have you downloaded any of ours yet? In all seriousness, if you're currently working with a marketing vendor who has not asked you these very important questions, right? Who is your audience? Who do you want to work with? Who's your ideal client? Why do you care about these people? And how do you make their lives better? If your vendor has not asked you any of these questions, then you may want to take a good long look at the relationship that you have with them and ask, is this a profitable relationship for my business? Because if the quality of your leads isn't high, then your sales process is likely far more expensive, more onerous, and ultimately more frustrating in the long run than it has to be. And you can't help the people that you want to help if the people that you want to help aren't at the top of your own orange spiral staircase. And that's what we've got for you today, folks. Stay tuned next time for part 1 of a 4-part series that features our own sales expert, Tanya Music. We'll see you there. Thank you for joining us on another episode of Profit First for Lawyers. If you're enjoying what you're hearing, tell a friend. And visit profitfirstforlawyers.com/action to download the resources that are going to help you put these concepts to work for your law firm. Your future self will thank you for it, and we will see you next time.